You're watching Seven Rivers Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Today, the spotlight shines bright on a great program, UWL Volleyball. Head Coach Amber Dunn, Laine, Hoeffel, Julia Van Fleet. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Well, second year as head coach. First year, you accomplished a heck of a lot. Won the conference championship, 22-7. I don't think anybody thought, like, her first year, she's going to make those huge strides. You proved you were the right hire, didn't you?
Yeah, I believe so. I certainly believe in our method to our madness. I do think that what we're doing here is what we're supposed to be doing, and we're headed in the right direction to win national championships.
So you made a couple other stops before, in the most recent, at Stevens Point out in New York, and at the Turbo where I met you. And the job came open, and you felt that you were ready, you were prepared, and you were confident. Mm-hmm. What was there any reluctance to you applying for that job?
No, I think, when I looked back at my coaching career and where I wanted to go, I think UWL is kind of the mother lode of what we're looking for. And so for me, I think, the Division III model, being able to be in the WIAC, I think obviously being here in La Crosse, having gone to college in the city of La Crosse, I think I know a little bit more about this place than what some stranger would. And so I was really excited for the opportunity, and I think, like I said, I'm in a place where there's no doubt in my mind that we can't be doing big things here.
Not only teaching skills, knowledge, as a player and a coach, were you responsible for recruitment in your previous stops?
Absolutely. So, my first year at Stevens Point, I was kind of under some management stuff with the other head coach, or with the head coach who was there. And then when the second head coach came in, we did a lot of recruiting together. Before she took the job, I had 9 freshmen that year, which was the first year we went to the Final Four. So I was really excited about the opportunity to build and find ways to get better. Recruitment's
such a vital part of being a college coach, and I'm always amazed when I know all of the coaches in the major and minor sports at UWL, and they just have the same ability to bring people on campus like Laine Hoeffel and Julia Van Fleet. What's special about these two athletes? Yeah, I think when you're talking about great volleyball players, it's really easy, right? You're thinking, she probably jumps high, she probably runs fast. Maybe some would think that they're really great at shouting, really great cheers on the floor. But I think the big piece for us is to have the intangible pieces. So they're great with their leadership skills. They have strong honesty qualities. They hold their teammates accountable, hold themselves accountable. They find ways to get better. They're competitive. So we're not just looking for kind of a standard good student athlete. We're looking for that good quality person. And you found that in Laine, didn't you? I sure did. And you found it in Julia, but starting with Laine from East Ridge High School in Woodbury, Minnesota. Spotlight on Scholarship Award, excellent volleyball player. You could have went probably anywhere. You could have went to D1. You could probably went to the Olympics, but you decided to go to UWL, and we're thankful for that. What brought you to Western Wisconsin?
Coming from a big city, it was nice to be able to focus on my academics and athletics at the same time, whereas there's too much going on at home, so I liked having the narrow mindset. And La Crosse is such an inclusive place. When I came here and I took my first visit and I did my overnight with the team, they all knew my name, all of my teammates already knew my name. Very, very welcoming, very, very enthusiastic about wanting me to be on this team. So the level of comfort was immediate. Right. So the transition was seamless. Yes. And so you said too much commotion, too much drama in high school. Does that happen in high school? Absolutely. But here, of course, in college there's no drama, is there? Not so much, no.
But we're really glad you're here. And Julia, you come to UWL from Muskego, but your journey kind of took you somewhere else first. But I read your resume in terms of your accomplishments: MVP, captain, second in state in kills, and plus an outstanding student. And but your journey was a little bit unusual.
Yes, so I started off at Hoeffel last year, and it's out in New York, so it was really far from home, but I thought that's what I wanted, and once I decided that I wanted to come back home, it wasn't really a question of whether or not I wanted to play in this conference, because I think this is inarguably the best Division III conference in the country. And so, I was looking at a couple other schools, but when I came to UWL, I knew it was the place for me. Everyone was so welcoming, like Laine said, and I really connected with the coaches, and I just love the campus.
And also, you ran out of Kleenex because you went through several boxes being so far away from home.
I was homesick.
So you thought you better come back to Wisconsin because you grew up in Muskego, and
yes.
you wanted to be a little closer to your family.
Yes.
Or was that a correct assessment or not?
Well, I am very close to my family, and my family is a big part of who I am, so it's great that they can come to my matches now, and they actually get to see me, and I can go home on the weekend, so that was a really big part of why I wanted
family,
to
a big part of who you are, and,
yes.
and when you're in high school, too. Talk about how important that is.
My family is everything to me. They're such a great support system. I'm so close with all of them, and they've always been there for me, and I'm confident, they'll always be there for me, and I'm really lucky to have them.
You are too, Laine, because
yes.
your resume said that's a big part of who you are as a person, a student, and as an athlete.
That's right. My family came to a majority of my matches last year, every single home game, any game up by the cities. They've come to quite a few again this year. My favorite is when we go play in the Augsburg tournament, because that's like 20 minutes from my house, so it's really easy for everyone to come watch.
As I get to know all the coaches and student athletes at UWL, one thing that resonates with me is the culture. Mm-hmm. The culture overall, but the culture specifically in each sport. Mm-hmm. To me, it's amazing. And I've traveled throughout the country and even parts of Europe, and I see this culture as something special. You brought an interesting perspective to culture, too, and you've made an impact with your team. How have you done that?
Yeah, I think we talk pretty regularly about the concept of a championship culture. When we're in the gym, we're talking about finding ways not only to just get better for today, but that will ultimately set us up for what we're hoping to do in the next handful of years. I don't want to build a program that's just going to win here and there. I want a program that's going to sustain success. And we're able to do that with good quality student athletes, but even better people, I think, and being able to provide the resources and the ability for them to really grow and thrive as humans.
Well, and you've done that, and we talked about it in your first year, and this year you are 10-7, 2-1, the WIAC tied with two other teams, Point and Stout, and looks like you're on path again to as we tape this show. You've just returned from an invitational, and this weekend you're ready for another invitational in Whitewater.
Yep.
Talk about what you expect the rest of the season.
Yeah, we've been a little beat up. We've done a pretty good job of keeping them injury-free for the most part, but we have suffered a little bit of a sickness. So we've had pneumonia go through our team here in the last 3 weeks or so, and so we haven't quite had our full roster between matches or even in practice. And so we're hoping here in the next couple weeks, especially with 10 new kids on the squad, we'd really like to be able to get healthy so that we can compete at the highest possible level with everyone in the gym.
What's special about UWL volleyball, Laine?
Our culture is so amazing here. We're so inclusive, like I said before, but it's not that we're willing to win at whatever cost. We're willing to win with having good personalities, high work ethic, and being good teammates, honestly.
Advice that you would give to somebody that would think about coming to UWL based on what you've heard from Amber and Laine in terms of the culture, the whole approach to handling student athletes?
I think the best advice for someone coming to UWL is honestly just be yourself, and you'll find a group of people. And I know we're very lucky to have a group that meshes so well with each other, and yeah.
Something tells me that everybody on the team feels that way.
Yes.
Even those that maybe don't play on a regular basis.
Yes. I think everyone is 100% on the same page and 100% on board with what coaches
So you
said.
feel good. I hope you feel good about being on the show, too. But
yes.
We're going to step aside just for a minute. But when we come back, we're going to learn more about Laine and Julia and UWL volleyball right after this.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, today's spotlight on UWL Volleyball. Head Coach Amber Dunn, Laine Hoeffel, and Julia Van Fleet. When we took a little break, we talked a little bit about, Coach, about your exercise science department teaching, blending that in with coaching and so on. Talk about your teaching responsibilities.
Yeah, so I teach ESS 100 volleyball, so I teach 2 volleyball courses on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I also teach HPR, which is a health and wellness course on Friday mornings. Certainly juggling the academic side with the coaching piece can be a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of academics, sophomore education major, and I am impressed with what you want to do in your career.
Yeah, so my plan for my education major is to work with inner city kids because I've been so privileged in my life where school has almost been easy for me, and I want to give tools to these kids that may not have the resources.
Not a lot of people that came from, upper middle income, good family, stable family, and so on, have that feeling, though. A lot of them, maybe a sense of entitlement, maybe a sense of wanting to accomplish things without regard for people from other demographic groups and whatever. That's interesting. Have you always felt that way?
I'm not quite sure if it was one of those things where you come to college and you kind of figure that piece out, but I do know that sometimes I dislike how, kids from lesser families don't get treated the same, or looking at the demographics of graduation rates and all those other things in other communities, I didn't like to see that people who look like me or have the same privileges that I grew up succeed more. So that's one of the pieces that really bothered me.
You're special, no question about it. But Julia, you're special too.
Thank you.
because you're a role model. You understand that athletes are on a platform. You understand that people are always like, there goes Julia. Students around UWL, parents, young people look up to athletes. Have you always thought, that you're on a platform and there's maybe a little bit more of an expectation?
Yeah, I think that it kind of varies school to school, and I do think that UWL and this conference, especially because the athletics are so successful, that people do look up to us more. And I think, for me personally, I think how a lot of girls in our team view it is that's just more motivation to be a really good role model for people and set a good example for other kids here.
If I asked your teammates to describe you in 2-3 words, what would they say?
They would say I'm outgoing and approachable.
Mm-hmm. And you have a nice smile, and your eyes light up when you talk.
I knew they would say that.
Would they say something similar about Laine Hoeffel?
I would hope so. I feel like I'm a responsible person. Many of the younger teammates actually look up to us a great deal, so that's a lot of responsibility on us. But I like the responsibility, and I like being able to help them through their freshman year.
I've always been impressed with and interested in coaches in terms of how they run and organize a practice. Mm-hmm. Practices that are well orchestrated, teaching the skills, rapidly going from a drill to drill, and looking at players' weaknesses, maybe trying to improve. Take us through a UWL volleyball practice.
Yeah, I think for us, there's a few pieces that are kind of the non-negotiables. So the first big piece for us is the serve and pass game, and so it's pretty unrealistic for us to win and compete at a high level if we can't serve and pass effectively. And so we spend about anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes a day on some form of serve and pass. We're trying to get our servers to be nice and tough and aggressive with the ball, but also being able to put it in play. And we're also expecting our players to make plays on the defensive side as well as be effective on the passing game for serve receive. So each of them would tell you that we do spend a great deal of time on the serve and pass game.
Is there life lessons that you talk about each and every practice still?
Yeah, I think, the basic stuff of, finding ways to get better. We certainly have talked at different times about how this makes you tougher, how do you respond under pressure, getting in the right mindset, focusing on the growth mindset that mistakes are okay. It's important to learn from them. That's when mistakes are okay. And so certainly framing our practices around the growth mindset has been really effective for us.
Authors have really focused on the mindset, the growth mindset, the ability to focus, meditation, however you want to describe it, but having a routine. The mental is such an important part where athletes self-destruct.
Yep.
Describe your approach to a match, describe your mental approach to the game.
So for a match, I like to be kind of loose, outgoing, making sure that if I get too hyper-focused, then it's almost detrimental to the team. For me personally, if I get in my own head, that's when I'm not helping the team, and that's really the goal, is to help my teammates succeed.
The mental is to the physical as 4 is to 1. 4 times more important mentally than it is maybe with your particular skill set. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. I think especially in volleyball, because it's a game of mistakes and you kind of have to move on after you make a mistake because there's another ball coming.
There is. Rapid fire, Joe, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Defining moments in your high school career. I know you had some injuries.
Yes, my sophomore year I had 2 concussions within a month of each other, but I was able to come back and play for the state tournament, and we were down in the semifinals. We were down 0-2, and we came back in the next 3 sets and won, and we moved on to the finals, which was very exciting.
You're a leader in many ways. Describe leadership in your view.
I would say leadership is being able to have a clear vision and being able to inspire and motivate people to work towards that goal.
Give me an example of how you do that.
I would say we talk a lot in practice about over-communicating, and I think that just by showing, I'm more of a lead by example person, so I think that just by doing the best I can every practice.
Hobbies, when you're not participating in practice games or studying till the midnight hour.
I enjoy hiking, I enjoy reading, and I learned how to knit a couple years ago, so I like to knit.
That reminds me of my mom and her sisters and back on the farm where I grew up. Not everybody your age, as you get older, you develop a philosophy of life. What's yours?
My philosophy in life is the grass is greener where you water it. So I kind of take that, and I'm sure it can be interpreted in a million different ways, but I take it as you're in control of your own life. You can make situations as good as you want or as bad as you want.
It also, the reference there for me is building relationships, too. How would you say that you build good relationships?
I would say I build good relationships. I think that I'm someone who I like to have maybe not as many. I don't have a billion friends, but I think the friends I do have and the people that I have in my life I'm very close with, and I work on having more of a deep relationship then.
Good. And what's something maybe our viewers don't know about you?
I have never broken a bone before. Had 3 concussions, but I've never broken a bone.
Concussions? Serious? Well, you broke a bone maybe up here, but just kidding. But you're rebounded and you're resilient from those concussions. Is that a concern to your parents?
Yeah, there was a talk because my sister, she played basketball and she had 4 concussions and she hung it up. And I had my 3rd concussion last year, and we had a serious talk about whether or not I wanted to continue, but it was never an option for me. I knew I wanted to continue for the rest of my college career.
Who inspired you? All of us have people that inspired us when we were young and through our life. Reflect back on memory lane, and who inspired you, Laine?
I would have to say my 18th year club coach, Becky Bauer. She was an All-American setter at the University of Minnesota, and she is also an amazing health educator at her current high school. She taught me not only so much about the game, but how to be a good person, being able to express my emotions correctly, or, you know, when you make a play and it's bad, you just got to get right back up and keep going. Those little things, those gritty, tough things, were really something I learned from her.
It worked, didn't it?
It did.
I can tell. Something that maybe our viewers throughout the world, because you're on YouTube here, by the way, you're going to be famous now, just in case you're wondering. Get your pen ready to sign out on campus. What's something that people watching the show may not know about you?
Well, a little fun fact about myself is that my middle name is Cricket, and my mom picked that because it was not only like her favorite grandma, but she wanted to be like have a little piece of her family within me, and that's what my siblings call me. They call me Cricket.
Was that emotional for you, knowing why your mom named you that?
Yeah, sometimes it makes me feel definitely more connected to her side of the family, because, you know, women take their father's last name, so having that little piece of my mom is important to me too.
Julia talked about her injuries. You've had some too.
Yeah, I actually tore my labrum in my hip. There are 2 labrums for the people who don't know that, but I tore it in my hip last fall. I played through that. It was tough, but I got hip surgery in the spring, and I just now have started full practice again.
I can tell that you're a leader too. I mean, it's apparent on the show.
Thank you.
A leader, in your view, describe leadership.
I think it's similar to what Julia said, being able to have people positively respond to your motivations. It's not only, there's a difference between a dictator and a leader, and a dictator is someone who tells you what to do and then you have to do it, but a leader is someone you want to follow and you want to engage with, and then that helps you grow as a person as well.
You like to read, don't you?
I do. I love reading.
And one of the things, do you like John D. Rockefeller?
Yeah, he's quite an interesting guy.
I've read a lot about him too. What did he kind of inspired you on your philosophy of life?
Right, I might butcher the quote a little bit, but it basically says that to be successful, you have to do the common things uncommonly well. So relating that back to volleyball, how Coach says, like, you have to focus on the basics and you need to be able to perform well at the simplest tasks so that you can improve yourself. I really take that into account.
I agree. Tony Dungy puts it another way. He says athletes, in order to be successful, you'd have to have a certain degree of being uncommon.
Right.
You can't fall into the sort of the mainstream, because otherwise you may not get to the goals that you want to achieve. Being uncommon. Mm-hmm. You two are uncommon, aren't you?
I would like to think so.
I think so.
Well, looking ahead at your schedule, as we tape the show again, you are on your way to Whitewater, mm-hmm. and you have some huge games ahead. One of the things that I think is really significant when all of our viewers go to the game on October 12th, it's kind of special. Why is that?
Yeah, so we selected October 12th as our Playing for a Cause match. We're this year and last year dedicating our match to attacking Alzheimer's. And so we've got some silent auction baskets that are going to be available. We've got hopefully a great volleyball match in store for you. And, you know, there'll be a 50-50 raffle, and then obviously any availability for donations if you're interested. It's a special place in my heart. The head coach at Stevens Point, who is my mentor, who's now the head coach at UW Green Bay, her mother was diagnosed at a young age. I think all of us think that Alzheimer's happens to people in their older years, and unfortunately it does not. And it's had a pretty significant impact on myself and my family and my friendship with her. And we'd like to do our justice to finding a way and finding a cure for those people.
Again, that's October 12th, Friday. I'll be there because our mom passed away from Alzheimer's, and I'm on the state Alzheimer's board. You know, I really feel blessed to be the host of the show because I get to meet people like Amber Dunn, Laine Hoeffel, and Julia Van Fleet, and we want to thank you for being on the show, and best of luck the rest of the season. And I hope our viewers can get to Mitchell Hall to watch a match. I'm going to be there for a couple of them, and hope to see you there. So appreciate being on the show today.
Yes, thank you, Jerry.
All right, we'll be back with some football film clips.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, week 9 of high school football, and we cover 2 games here on KQEG. Let's start in West Salem. The Panthers hosting the Central Red Raiders. Central was locked in from the start with a number of explosive athletes and an improved offensive line. A Johnny Davis to Jordan Davis pass and Trenton Van Egtern PAT got the scoring going. Then a TD catch by Jamar Davis. Just like that, 14-0 Central. Therick Roberts, a 1-yard run, 14-6 Central after 1. Speedster Stephen Crosse, a TD from 34 yards out, 20-6 at intermission. In the third quarter, Crosse from 35 and from 3 yards to increase the lead to 34-6. On to the fourth, as Johnny Davis scored the final Red Raider TD on an 8-yard run. Senior quarterback Joe Wopat ended the Panthers scoring on a 1-yard run as the clock ran out. Fullback Brendan Holt was injured early in this game. It appears the 1,000-yard runner will return for the postseason. With the 41-17 win, Central ends the regular season with a 7-2 record. West Salem ends week 9, 6-3. Both teams advance to the postseason, playing on Friday at 7 p.m. Central travels to Oregon, while the West Salem Panthers host Baldwin Woodville in Division 4. Rick and I were on the campus of UWL for an MVC matchup, Sparta at Aquinas. An emotional game for the Blue Goals as they leave the MVC after nearly 2 decades. Sparta started strong as junior quarterback Cole Wisniewski ran the read option perfectly, scoring from 40 yards out. Rig Falminger also found the end zone, 14-0 after 1. The Sparta offense ramped up in the second quarter, scoring 27 points. Wisniewski, Bryce Edwards, Nick DeSicchio, and Abram Eddy all scored. 41-0 Spartans at halftime. No scoring in the third quarter, so into the fourth. The Blue Gold junior, Lenny Boberg, a 7-yard run and a PAT to end the scoring. Sparta had 264 total yards, Aquinas 192 yards running, and only 8 yards passing for a total of 200 yards. Final score, Sparta 41 and Aquinas 8. The Blue Goals end the season with a 2-7 record. The 4-5 Spartans advance to the postseason, traveling to Ashland on Friday, kickoff at 7 p.m. Well, our coverage of football continues as we move to the playoffs. 2 games this Friday, Holman at DeForest and Baldwin Woodville at West Salem. Next week, a special show as we look at the coaching career of recently retired Viterbo women's head coach Bobby Vandenberg. You won't want to miss that show. Also, check your local listing as we bring you Knights of Thunder Racing every Thursday and Sunday nights. Thanks for joining us this week on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you have a healthy and an active week.